Hey guys, Zugord here. Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into episode 6 of Alien Earth. And trust me, this one's a roller coaster. The episode kicks off with this scene that looks simple, like, oh, just another book moment, but it's dripping with symbolism that basically hands you the key to the whole story. Enter Boy Cavalier, flipping through Peter Pan. And no, this isn't just some artsy look he's reading thing. Hell no, it's a narrative wink that sets the tone. Kids trapped in eternal childhood, forever stuck in a limbo of innocence and play. Sound familiar? Yep, that mirrors the hybrid creatures in the story. Complex biologically, yet condemned to perpetual in-between states. They're stuck in a twisted version of childhood, stuck in endless metamorphosis, with no adulthood in sight. So, Cavalier's casual reading? That's the first piece of a huge emotional and thematic puzzle. Yeah, pay attention, folks. This matters. Meanwhile, Marcy's obsession with the xenomorph is hitting levels that might worry a therapist or a viewer. That fragile little chest buster we used to fear, now it's growing, evolving, right in front of our eyes. And here's the kicker. In the old school movies, the Xeno bursts in, wreaks havoc, and poof, disappears until it comes back as a full-grown monster. Not here. Oh no, here we get a front row ticket to its entire terrifying transformation. Watching it morph is equal parts mesmerizing and horrifying. Every mutation, every change, a peek into alien biology, and a question mark hovering over what the hell its evolution is even aiming for.
On another track, Joe's in a tense face-off with Kirsch. His goal? Rescue Marcy before Prodigy chews her up or grinds her down with corporate machinery. But Kirsch, icy as ever, drops a brutal truth. To Prodigy, Marcy isn't a person anymore. She's Wendy, the symbolic glue holding a world of lost children together in the lab. Her bond with the hybrids, her ability to understand and even communicate with them, that's not just decades of science, it's pure, live potential. Pragmatically speaking, Marcy is a living treasure. Yeah, I said it. Then, the tension spikes elsewhere. Nips is scanned from head to toe. Her erratic behavior raises red flags. Adomini, always the ruthless one, suggests a radical measure. Wipe her memory clean. Arthur and Sylvia? Hell no. They resist. But, plot twist, Sylvia herself volunteers to do it. Boom! Conflict explodes with violent consequences, and Arthur pays the heaviest price. He's stripped of his position, his power, his dignity, basically everything. Only hours to leave the island before he's treated as an intruder, which in that place, yeah, death sentence, no questions asked. Meanwhile, the story dives into one of its most philosophical debates, the very nature of alien species. Marcy and Joe spar intellectually. Joe's stance? Xenomorphs are ruthless predators designed to kill without remorse. Marcy? She fires back sharp and cruel. Humans are no different. Every species fights to survive, often in bloody, brutal ways. But here's the kicker. A thought is blooming in her mind. Maybe the xenomorph she's living with isn't just different. Maybe it's even kind. And that tiny crack, it could lead her to flip sides. First against Prodigy, then against Weyland-Yutani. Joe offers escape, but Marcy? She's drawn to the Xenos with a magnetic pull that defies reason. Sticky situation, right?
At the top echelons of power, things are heating up. Prodigy and Weyland-Yutani negotiate over the Magino disaster in Siam. Boy Cavalier isn't buying the oops, mistake story. Why? Because he was in on it, scheming with Petrovich to sabotage the mission and grab the specimens. The moderator, representing the mysterious five? Nope. Rules that organisms must go back to Weyland-Yutani. Prodigy wants a $20 billion fine. Yep, billion with a B. But Yutani isn't cornered easily. They reluctantly agree, on condition that specimens return ASAP. Yet Boy Cavalier, he knows interstellar loopholes. He gets 6 weeks, enough time by quarantine protocol to hold on to the aliens. Weyland-Yutani can rage all they want, but they have to bite their tongues. And they won't just sit idle. Morrow fans the fire with a venomous promise. Deliver a specimen that night. Classic, predictable, but deadly. Chaos on the island, Prodigy destabilized, creature in hand. Back to Marcy, facing the human cost of science. She visits Nips after the memory wipe and finds a shattered girl, clueless about reality. Marcy tries to rebuild the story with words, but the void is too deep. Confusion spirals into collapse. And their solution? Another wipe. Yep, round 2. Ouch. Vicious cycle.
Meanwhile, Slight re-enters. We know Morrow threatened his family to force cooperation. He considers handing Joe over to an ovomorph, but slight innocence remains. He invites Joe to see something fun and surprising. Sounds cute? Nope. In this context, it screams, trap incoming. Joe, he can't dodge duty. Security rounds call, and he patrols with Siberian and Rashidi. Siberian's suspicious, sensing a secret escape plan brewing with his sister. Rashidi, pragmatic, warns the island's balance is fragile. Mess it up and boom, barrel of powder level disaster. One misstep could be fatal. In the lab, Marcy stands there, rock solid, trading some kind of eerie mental volley with the xenomorph before her. And let me tell you, she's not the same woman we met back in the early episodes. Becoming a hybrid didn't just morph her body, it supercharged her brain. We're talking about cognition on a level that borders on superhuman. Patterns, codes, the alien language itself. Her mind processes it all, while the rest of us are still scratching our heads going, what? This evolution opens a door that's as fascinating as it is terrifying. There are signs she's cracked much of the xenomorph's communication, a blend of biology and gestures that would baffle most humans. The way she watches, the precision in her responses, the expectant silence, it's like she's holding secret keys nobody else even knows exist. But here's the kicker. She might be hoarding vital information, storing it in her head, not sharing a damn thing. And you know what that means? Those secrets could tilt the balance of power, not just in the lab, but across the whole narrative. And the scariest part? Marcy isn't rushing to spill the beans. She's quiet, calculating, protecting something or someone. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, Kirsch and Boy Cavalier are dragging themselves back from a tense sit-down with Yutani. Barely on safe ground again, Kirsch's message cuts through with a sharp order. Isaac must resume experiments immediately, and if Curly's around, he's to assist. Classic setup, right? Except Curly is right there, but Isaac, aka Toodles to some, decides to lie, flat out. With a confident tone, he says Curly isn't available. Why? Who knows? Pride? Showing he's the lone hero? Or trying to prove he's worth more than his partner? Whatever the reason, he's walking straight into a trap. He takes full responsibility without weighing the consequences. Yeah, bad move, buddy. During the feeding routine, he approaches the container of massive moth-like creatures. Yes, moths, but nightmare-sized. And oof, disaster strikes. He breaks the safety gate. Improvising, he steps in with the food. And boom! We're off to Horrorland. The Ocellus, the so-called octopolo that infected a sheep earlier, ambushes him mercilessly. Panic hits. He trips, trapped inside. Yeah, that's not going to end well. Then the moths swarm. Not after flesh or blood, nope. They eat metal. Acid drips, structures melt. And Isaac? Yeah, he's toast. For normal humans, maybe no big deal. But for hybrids and synthetics, whose bodies are metal-bound, deadly. This scene confirms what we suspected. Not all the lab's creatures are meant to coexist.
Some are weapons, pure and simple. Back to Marcy, because she's having a moment. She confronts Dame Sylvia after discovering the truth. Sylvia erased Nip's memories. Ouch! Betrayal burns. Marcy questions the real agenda behind Prodige. The lost kids aren't just cute test subjects, they're lives, stories, or just disposable lab tools. Spoiler alert, the corporation sees them as nothing more than experimental fodder. Things get tense when Sylvia throws the classic guilt trap. Why do you spend so much time with the xenomorph? And of course she calls it Wendy, trying to box Marcy into some corporate narrative. But Marcy interrupts, cool as ever. My name is Marcy. 2 words, heavy as a wrecking ball. She's finally drawing a line, refusing to be a puppet in their symbolic games. And man, that rebellion, oh, it's juicy. Meanwhile, Arthur Sylvia packs his things, resigned. Joe intercepts him and, in a rare moment of honesty, admits he actually believes Arthur cares about Marcy, unlike everyone else. But the real dagger? Is Marcy safe? Arthur lies automatically under the watchful cameras. Yes, but later, alone, he crafts a secret message to Joe, urging him to flee with his sister. Codes, disabling tracking, the whole spy movie shebang. And wait for it, Toodles isn't online. Uh-oh. Elsewhere, Slightly, or Allru, heads to the lab, weighed down by Morrow's threats. Crush watches through cameras, every twitch documented. Fate, or luck, or maybe just bad timing, has Arthur sneak in through a secret code unknown to Allru. And what he sees? Tool's mangled body. Brutal. Heart-stopping. Panic levels off the charts. While Arthur processes, Allru opens the ovomorph cell. Lab sealed. Arthur trapped. Xenomorph and Oculus sense it, even if their perception isn't human. Allru, voice trembling, cites family threats as justification. Arthur tries empathy, but nope, the boy won't budge. And then, bam, a facehugger sticks. Oof. Classic nightmare fuel. Kirsch watches from afar. Boy Cavalier asks if there's trouble. Kirsch's cold reply, all under control. But let's be real, he's not protecting anyone. He's observing a train wreck for pure scientific curiosity. Yikes. The aftermath? Slightly hides Arthur's body, but can't erase the proof entirely. A giant moth nearly pounces, ventilation duct barely closed, and the Oculus, silent, ominous. The ever-patient witness of chaos.
Season climax, folks! Board set for bloodbath. 2 confirmed xenomorphs. Weyland-Yutani possibly recovering another. Violence and chaos incoming. Marcy seems poised to fully embrace the xenomorphs, seeing them as more trustworthy allies than humans. And then there's the Oculus. Last we saw, it took over a human, but now, could it control a xenomorph? Its allegiances? Ambiguous. Not human-friendly, not xeno-friendly. It's the wild card, the chaos factor. And damn, that uncertainty is deliciously terrifying. Narratively, this episode is a masterstroke. Tension, twists, perfect pacing. Holly stacked the deck. Betrayals, moral dilemmas, bio-horror, corporate gods playing, well, gods. So, viewers, here's the big question. Will Marcy make the final leap to the xenomorph side? Or will the Oculus, that ambiguous nightmare, shake the board in ways no one, not a single soul saw coming? Can you even imagine the chaos?